The following podcast has been rated PGN. Parental guidance is neglected.
Boy, it's been a long time since we've had a little father-son chat.
I am your father.
Father, if you can hear me, I failed.
Don't let your mother smell that beer on your breath. She'll take it out on me.
I'm here with my dad.
I know what you're gonna say, son. And you're right. You're right.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
I've abandoned my boy!
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 8 of Parental Guidance Neglected. Of course, the podcast where father and son are pitted together in a fight against the generations in film. I am Jackson Burns, and I'm here with...
Me. Oh, yeah, that was a throw. I just yelled at you.
Yeah, that was waiting for the...
I yelled at you last time for every time I give you a throw, you just let it hang there, and then I just let it hang there. I know,
and then you did it this time.
I think I was thrown by the fact that you say that we're pitted against each other, and I don't think we've really...
Yeah,
have we disagreed
I don't know why
hard?
I said that either. I think my head was like, "We need what to say," and then I immediately went to, "Oh, we're in a battle." I think I was thinking of the trip. I'm stuck on the trivia mindset.
Thing. Yeah, that'll have to come back. We haven't discussed that yet, but maybe like at the end. Should that be like the end of the month type thing?
Yeah, that's a good end of the month.
Like an end of the month type of thing.
Trivia out. Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
We skipped an episode.
We did. And you want to talk about why that is?
That was my fault. I'm still, I think, a little brain foggy. And no, I didn't have COVID. That's not why we missed a week. We got
into a really bad fight.
Jackson and I got into a...
Yeah.
And
there was some turmoil between the two.
We're just now speaking again. It was over money. No. Yeah. He owes me $5. He is a great son. And he's away at college. But I went to Virginia last week, the state of Virginia, to run a 24-hour adventure race with some buddies of mine, a 4-man team, and it was exhausting, buddy. You actually...
yeah, it sounds like it, yeah.
You actually came home this week and spent a night here, so you got to see my legs, and they're just now starting to heal.
Yeah, they're a wreck.
Oh, my gosh. We did so much bushwhacking, and there was mountain biking and trekking and kayaking and whitewatering, and it was exhausting. But we took second in our category of 3 to 4-man team.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And 12th team overall out of 100 plus. I think like 120, 130, something like that.
How often did you run into other teams? Because obviously it's a 24-hour race, so everyone's going to be pretty spread out by the end of it, right?
We probably, I would say the race started at 9 a.m. on Saturday.
Yep.
After the first leg... when we got to the kayaking and we were in first at that point, we would see like a team maybe every half hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Except at the transition areas. When you had to get to switching areas, there'd be teams that were just leaving or just coming in after us, kind of thing like that.
So when you say 24-hour race, does that mean that you personally finished it in 24 hours, or is it designed to be finished in 24 hours?
You have 24 hours to finish the race. So if it starts at 9 a.m., you have to be at the finish line by 9 a.m. the next day, Sunday. Now, if you want to do the minimal amount of the course, there's certain mandatory things you must do. If you we don't want to win, we don't want to get the maximum points because it's a points race, depending on how many checkpoints you get. If you just want to do the minimum, and some people did do that, you could probably finish it by about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. But the trick of this is how many of the 40 checkpoints can you get that are spread out all over the Shenandoah National Forest. Some you reach by mountain bike, some you reach by kayak, some you reach by foot. How many can you get and then make it back to the finish line before that cutoff time? So you have to kind of do that balancing act of, should we go for one more? Do we have time for one more?
Have time?
Do we want to spend this much time? You know, if we can't find one or we're spending too much time, do we need to move on? So there was 40 checkpoints. 40 was the maximum you could have found. There was only 2 teams that found all 40. These guys are professional adventure racers. Mm-hmm. We found 28.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's not bad at all. Yeah. And how long did it take you to finish?
We crossed the finish line at 23 hours and 19 minutes. So we had about 40 minutes to go.
Spare, yeah.
And maybe we could have gone for one more, but now it's getting scary because then it's
that's.
And I got 2 flat tires on the race.
Right. Yeah.
And what if I had gotten a third? So I mean, that was time right there that we didn't expect. Yeah, for some reason I got two, my rear flat tire, which I think we found out later might have had a thorn in it. We had 2 flat tires. What else did we have? We had a possible bear encounter, something huge. I don't know what it was. It was in the woods in the dark coming at us, and we were like,
that's where I tap out.
You tap out there on the bears?
Oh, I'm like, yeah.
You know,
there's something else here? Oh,
yeah.
We should probably go.
You're in the middle. You're in the middle of a forest. It's home. It's home. It's not like they're like.
It's home for them, not home for me.
Right.
Maybe for you in some spiritual way, but not for me. Not for me personally.
Had a rattlesnake, which I didn't even know they had in Virginia, but apparently they do because it makes a rattle sound.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Are you afraid of snakes? Do I know this about you? How are you with snakes? I seem to remember, like, when you were in art camp and you were young, like they had one of those. They brought all the exotic animals in, and you held a snake, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with those. If I see a snake in the wild, I don't get scared. I just kind of let it do its thing and then leave. I mean, if I like walk outside and it's next to my foot, I'll probably jump and get out of the way. But that's more of like a fight or flight. Like, oh, this could maybe kill me, kind of thing. Right. Not like it's a snake. I'm fine with snakes. It's more spiders for me. I'm not a spider guy.
A spider.
Look, it doesn't make any sense. I can't rationalize it, but.
Really?
I'm sorry. Yeah, they're especially big. They get big. They get big. They're big bugs.
Oh, they're big bugs. Yeah, if they bite you, you get a little bump. Oh, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Remember? Did you ever see that movie Spiders on a Plane?
That has to be a joke. Are you serious? Did they make a sequel to Snakes on a Plane?
No, you know why? Because no, they didn't. You know why? Because spiders aren't scary.
They are though. They are scary.
Spiders.
They're less scary than snakes, in my opinion.
Spiders.
They're more scary than snakes.
Spiders on a plane. What did you do with your week off? You've been filming something? What are your
week off?
Yeah, we didn't do a podcast last week.
Oh, I thought. Oh, yeah. Oh, just a lot. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of filming. I've got a couple projects that I'm working on right now. Finals are around the corner, so a lot of late night study sessions. And then, yeah, my whole dermatologist debacle from yesterday.
Yeah.
Dealing
with the skin. I know.
Dealing with the old acne battle, but
yeah, you'll win.
It's looking good today. I'm happy.
Okay.
Maybe that means the new stuff's working. Fingers crossed.
All right, we've tried 800 different things. You know what it is?
What is it?
It's too much loving. That's what it is. It's too much loving going on there at college. I don't know, gets those hormones firing. I am gonna leave this call.
It's
too much late night loving causing all those male
and
hormones.
On that note, maybe we should start talking about some movies.
Look at you trying to change the subject. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just saying. Life's gotta have balances. All right. So there it is. I did an adventure race, and Jackson saw a dermatologist, and that's
exciting stuff.
That's our exciting week.
That's that's what our week.
Hey, before we get to our films, you're gonna you got a race coming up. You're doing one with me.
Yeah, when is that?
Yeah, great. That's soon, July, I think. So you got like
that's coming up.
You got like 2 months. All right, so start lifting some iron and all that stuff.
I'll be ready. Don't worry.
All right,
I'll be ready.
I'm not carrying you. This is the Parental Guidance Neglected podcast. Father and son talking films and what else? Boy, was that I don't know. I'm telling you, I have this brain. I'm still I'm still trying to catch up on the sleep. You know, you stay up that long and it checks out on you. PGM podcast. We saw some films this week. I actually, I think, saw one more than you.
We saw the same amount of movies, but we both saw. I saw an older movie that we didn't decide on, and you saw a new movie.
Right. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about our suggestion this week first. We'll get to that. Let's do that. Let's just do that. Let's do that one first. One of the things we were trying out here on the PGN podcast and doing so far is we take suggestions from you guys each week of great films, classics that we may have missed and that we should go back and revisit or see for the first time, obviously, as well as a horrible film, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. But this week it was a classic film, and the lovely Pat Melton, casting director here in Hollywood, who I've known for years and years, suggested several films, one of which was All About Eve, a film that I actually never saw. I know Jackson hadn't because it wouldn't be on his radar because he's into anime and women.
It's too counterintuitive things.
Yeah. Fun facts about All About Eve for those who don't remember, who haven't seen it. It's one of the most nominated films of all time as far as the Oscars go. It had a record 14 Oscar nominations. Only 2 other films in the history of the awards have done that. That's Titanic and La La Land. All 4 actresses in the film were nominated, even though they didn't win. The only acting award was George Sanders, who played the theater critic. He actually won. It is a tale about theater, filmed in Hollywood. It stars, obviously, the iconic Bette Davis, Ann Baxter. Marilyn Monroe shows up in it. George Sanders, Celeste Holm, a bunch of others. All About Eve is the film we saw, black and white, classic, Bette Davis. She's got those eyes. Jackson, this is normally not up your alley. What did you think? The entire time I was watching... Can I just say, I always love how there's a pause with you. There's always a pause. It's like, Jackson, when you say it, you go...
I have to take a second to think. Mm-hmm. Okay. The last film that we watched for this podcast was, I believe, maybe this was farther back, but it was The Apartment, which was another black and white film 10 years after, mind you, after All About Eve. It came out in 1960. All About Eve came out in 1950.
Right.
But to my dumb Gen Z brain, those are the same time periods because they're black and white, and I didn't live through them, and blah blah blah.
That's like saying Destiny's Child and Beyonce are the same era.
I know it is, but it's hard for me to separate them in my mind because they're both old black and white movies. They take place in a time period I didn't live through, so I subconsciously I kind of connect.
Right, every black and white movie was made during black and white movie time.
This is so.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
No, yeah, that's what. No, they're all the same. No differences.
Yeah, it's like rap music. 50 Cent, Drake. It's the same time period. It's all the same time period.
It was okay.
Right.
I'm saying is that it was an older film.
It is a decade earlier than The Apartment.
Yes, it is a decade earlier.
Styles definitely changed.
Yes, absolutely. There was a lot happened between those 2 years, definitely from the 2 films.
Yeah, I believe a world war.
Yeah, an entire world war.
Was that in the 50s?
Yeah. So All About Eve I didn't dislike it. I think that the story was very strong, and I think that the acting was very strong. I do think that it was a bit too disconnected from my reality for me to latch onto it more. I like I said, I didn't disenjoy it. There was never a moment where I was like, "Oh God, just get on with it." Just let Eve doing the whole thing. But
yeah,
it was. I think overall, just to kind of package it, it was not my cup of tea. But I can definitely see why it has so much critical acclaim. Probably was ahead of its time. But with that being said, I mean, a lot of time has passed, so it's difficult to just relate to that. At least for me.
Yeah. All About Eve, for those who have not seen it, tells the tale of a young girl who's taken under the wing of a huge Broadway actress. And throughout the course of the film, we come to discover that not only does she want to be like the famous actress, she pretty much wants to take over her life. It's kind of, I think this is, at the time, it was probably a tale that people had not seen before. We have seen this story a million times.
Very many times, yeah.
Yeah, many, many times it's been duplicated, which is a testament to it that it was probably groundbreaking at the time. I'm going to completely disagree with you. I was rather bored.
Okay.
I was rather bored. The stylized acting is just never.
It was very stylized.
It's just never been my cup of tea. I think if there was a standout in the cast, I think it was the guy who won. I thought George Sanders was kind of creepy good as the film critic, who kind of ended up being the chess player, moving the pieces more than you think by the end of the film. I knew immediately that Ann Baxter was a grifter and trying to steal her husband and steal her career.
Yeah,
it's
pretty.
It's pretty obvious, and I felt it was a very long road before we finally got there. It's weird. The really original moments that I thought the film had were in the last 60 seconds. When she walks in and suddenly there's a woman sitting in her chair. The shot was something that looked like it should have been 10, 15 years later. It was like almost like a jump scare of that woman sitting there. And then the final shot in the mirror with all the reflections of the new girl trying on Eve's dress, and you realize there's always going to be another one. There's always going to be another one. I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting and different.
The ending was very strong.
Yeah,
I agree.
But everything else leading up to it, I felt was a bit of a snore fest. I'm a little shocked. This is number 16 on AFI's list of greatest American films of all time. I
have a lot of beef with that list.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain films on the AFI list. It needs to be updated. Let's put it that way.
It definitely needs to be updated.
I don't think they update it nearly as much as they need to. Because they certainly have not considered a lot of films from the last 8 to 10 years. I felt like I was watching a film that was probably groundbreaking and unique and entertaining for the time, but I don't think it stands the test of it.
Yeah, I share that sentiment.
Yeah. There were interesting aspects of it, and just, I love the fact that the married couple wakes up in the middle of the night and they're both in 2 different beds. It's like, because you couldn't show a couple in bed together.
You couldn't. Yeah, there's weird moments like that where it's like, oh.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah, all the implications of things, the little double entendres about drinking or sex or anything like that.
Yeah.
The most they can get away with. But I gotta be honest with you, I try to keep an open mind when it comes to those 50s or late 40s films that just has that kind of stylized acting, and I don't want to be the snob who goes, I didn't really embrace theater until acting took on a more natural aspect. I mean, but
it is that very over the top. But to give them credit, they do play theater.
Yes.
Actresses.
Right.
So it makes more sense for it than to be like in like Citizen Kane or something like that.
Yeah,
where it's,
Yeah, it's definitely a little more melodramatic. I have not seen a lot of films by Bette Davis, and she's such an icon of film.
I have not seen any films with Bette Davis in them until this moment. I didn't even know that she was like a big thing until after you said it.
Yeah. Well, she's got those eyes. She
did have very unique eyes.
Yeah, she's an interesting person to be a movie star, especially for the era. I mean, she's not traditionally beautiful. She's got a very unique look. She's kind of small and waifish, and I mean, I've seen Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, which is definitely a completely you gotta check that out sometimes. That's a completely different type of whacked out film. But I was not enthralled by All About Eve, and I
did hear that Bette Davis was, or Betty, what is her name?
Bette Davis.
Yeah, Bette Davis was also not the nicest person on set. I mean, like that could just be like the. But you know, like on Amazon Prime, when you're watching a movie, like they have the trivia things on the side.
Yeah.
I did glance at them, and it was like.
Said
she wasn't the
said
nicest
she's a
to the actress that
bitch.
played
You're
Eve.
like watching the movie, and Amazon Prime goes, "Just for your information, the following actress is a bitch."
It's just so you know, there was a toxic work environment while making this this film.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that doesn't strike me as. But I think everyone in Hollywood back then was kind of egotistical and
very full of themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Unlike now, where everyone in Hollywood is down to earth. And,
no one in Hollywood is. Mean
grain of the earth. No, everyone's just
the nicest people.
It's
just the nicest people.
It's a big team out here. We all got each other's backs.
Just one big team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on my scale, going back in time, I'm gonna give All About Eve a C-.
All right, and going on to my scale, I'm going to give All About Eve a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think we're being generous just because
I don't want to blame the movie for it being influential enough to have been done again and again.
Yeah,
and so I give it credit where credit's due, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure that. All of our grandparents highly appreciated it when it came out. But
definitely. And what did Mom think about it? Because you guys watched it together, right?
She liked it. She liked it.
It seems like her kind of movie. It seems like something she would like.
Yeah, I think she enjoyed it. I think she enjoyed it more than I did. I was definitely, and it's like a 2-hour 10. It's not a short.
Especially for the time.
Yeah, it took a little while. Yeah, they were usually shorter back then, but. Joseph Mankiewicz wrote and directed it, and his brother Herman Mankiewicz obviously co-wrote Citizen Kane. That's that movie Mank with Gary Oldman was out about. So the Mankiewiczes were big back then, and he won an Oscar for it. I mean, 14 nominations. But if you look and see everything it was nominated against, I ain't heard any of those films either. So
yeah.
So there you have it. All About Eve.
Year.
Yeah, so just a reminder that we will be asking you guys to please DM us at our Instagram, PGN Podcast, or TikTok, or you can reach out to me and Jackson and say, hey.
Or comment below, and if you're watching on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, YouTube, exactly. And let us know if there is a classic film. Doesn't have to be something from the 50s or 60s. It could be something came out last year.
A film you like.
Something really, really good. And we will let you know. And if neither one of us have seen it, we will add it to the ever-growing list, and maybe it'll pop up next month. But thank you, Pat. It's no reflection on you. I just don't think All About Eve was quite our... You know what? That's weird. What was our great film last month? Was that thing The Giant? Or... so far, I think we've enjoyed the bad movies... recommended to us
the Apple
slightly
was
more
almost
than the great ones.
Because look, I'll say it. I'm gonna remember the Apple, but I don't know how much of All About Eve I'm gonna keep in my head.
I would sit down and watch the Apple again right now. And speaking of strange, the big film that we both went and saw in the theaters is from one of the strangest directors working right now. How's that for a segue?
One of my favorite directors working right now. That was a good segue.
Yeah. Robert Eggers. This is his third movie. The Lighthouse really put him on the map. That was with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, who's gone on to really do nothing in the last year. and The Witch, which was before that. Very stylized director, considered one of the hot new ones to watch right now. This is his third film. He wrote this, I believe, with his wife, Sojourn, I think her name is.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's called The Northman, Jackson. The Northman. We both went and saw that. Did anything about the film, I don't know, did you go into the film knowing the history of the story, or did any of it strike you as familiar? Because I will be honest with you, I did not realize the Hamlet parallel. I mean, I picked up on it immediately when watching it, and then when I did research afterwards, finding out that this, in fact, was an old mythological tale that Shakespeare based Hamlet on. Did you know any of that going in, or find out about that?
I didn't. I've never seen or read any rendition of Hamlet, so honestly, even if I did know, I wouldn't have caught it.
You've never read Hamlet?
No. The Shakespeare I had to read in high school was Othello and Romeo and Juliet and King Henry.
Have you ever eaten at a hamburger Hamlet?
No.
So you have.
So I'm 0 for 2.
You have no experience with Hamlet.
No experience with Hamlet. It's really unfortunate, but I will say, and this is, I am a massive Assassin's Creed fan, like the video game series. And was there a video game in this? I don't remember that. When was the video? No, there wasn't. But the last Assassin's Creed video game was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and it was a story of a guy that is abandoned as a child. It's like takes place in the same time period as the Northman, and he's abandoned as a child, and he kind of spends. It's a very similar storyline, I will say, but it helped me understand a lot of the mythological references a little bit better.
Yeah,
so
this is
I had a little bit of context coming in.
This is a reimagining of a 13th century Scandinavian mythological Danish tale of a gentleman named Amleth, which, by the way, if you take the H from the end of Amleth and put it at the beginning, you have Hamlet. And it's funny is I've read a lot of people going, "Oh, this movie's based on Hamlet," and I'm like, "You morons! Hamlet was based on this story, because Shakespeare stole everything, as we know." It stars Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Ethan Hawke, and Bjork shows up as a witch, which is
and Willem Dafoe has a bit of a little small little
yeah,
stint
Willem
in there
pops
as well.
up well. It's an Icelandic revenge saga. It's violent. It's filled with ritualistic symbols and a lot of crazy dialogue. Jackson, what'd you think?
So
there's the pause. Pause. I love it.
I have to figure out. I have to find a good starting point.
I love it.
I am a massive Robert Eggers fan. Okay, The Lighthouse, one of my favorite films of all time. I recently rewatched it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched The Northman the day after I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once for the second time. Which I think might have tipped the scales a little bit, because that's my favorite movie of all time, and I bawled just as much the second time as I did the first time.
Right.
I went and saw it with one of my friends.
Okay.
And I will say this: The Northman has some amazing cinematography, like just jaw-droppingly beautiful. They really went all out. There was some really, really great shots in there. I thought that the acting was very strong. Especially, I really wish they had used Willem Dafoe's character more, because I love Willem Dafoe. I loved his character and the design for it. And Bjork as well. They did really good character design for her, and then she never came back.
Willem Dafoe was pretty much the court jester, and then Bjork played a seer or a witch. Which, if you know the tale of Hamlet, neither one are. They're both very small characters. They're not. You couldn't really expand them and fit them into the story more. They're supposed to play a very small part. But go on.
Okay, yeah. This is where I'm kind of split. It is very much a textbook hero's journey in some ways. I think that where my problem comes in is that none of the characters feel dynamic. I feel like they're all very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
The main character, he says, right at the beginning, the whole thing, he has three goals. I will avenge you, Father. I will save you, Mother. I will kill you, Fjolnir.
Which I believe he says about 244 times.
Oh yeah, just going through it. Which I love that. I like that part. I love that he kept coming back to that. But I didn't feel any growth. I mean, there was a little bit with like, oh, we're gonna go off with Anya Taylor-Joy and start a family, which is like, which is cool. But that was like a 2-second scene, and then 2 seconds later, he's like, actually, I'm gonna go back and protect my family.
Yeah, I changed my mind.
Yeah, very quickly. By the way, that scene felt very rushed.
Yeah,
it felt like a lot of thought went into character design, cinematography, PD. Like it looked gorgeous. I loved everything about it, but the story really did not grab me that much. And I mean, not that he could have changed it, because obviously it's based on something, but he could have tweaked it a little bit. I think that it would have been interesting to see a more Robert Eggers spin on things. And also,
go ahead.
I will. The last scene is Star Wars. That's straight out of. I mean, that was pretty much Star. Can we both agree on that? The last scene was pretty much Revenge of the Sith.
It's
Return of the Jedi.
Lightsabers on the edge of a volcano.
Oh, it was the same. It was like the same scene. I was like, I'm watching Star Wars right now.
Right. No, that's not Star Wars. That's Star Trek. I'm doing my Star Trek song
that
all
was
of a sudden.
Cable Guy.
I love how you think that's from Cable Guy, and I know that
it's not from Cable
originally
Guy,
from Star Trek.
Yeah.
That shows you the generational difference there. Oh, the music from Cable Guy.
From Cable Guy.
The story is very simplistic. It is a revenge saga. You see right from the beginning that Alexander Skarsgård has one goal, and that is to, avenge his father, free his mother, and put the rightful kingdom back together. The problem is even when the big twist comes, which is not a big twist if you read any Shakespeare, if you've read Shakespeare, or
even as someone who hadn't read Shakespeare, I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
I felt it. I was like, this is not going to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you're familiar with Hamlet or Lady Macbeth, you know that all is not as it appears. But I think with Robert Eggers, we were expecting something a little. I think I was expecting that moment when I go, "Whoa, where is this going?"
Yeah,
and it was very linear and like, no, we know exactly where it's headed at all times. I have to be honest with you. I disagree with you slightly on the acting. I thought some of it was almost silly and over the top.
Oh, really? I kind of like that. I was kind of into it. It made me feel like I was like, oh, let's go beat someone up.
Some of that, but there was that intensity constantly. So some of it just felt, what was the one line? Like, there's a part where he frees the slaves and he's like, "You have your freedom. Do with it what you will."
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, that's that sounds like something that Dolph Lundgren would say in a movie. I felt there was the machismo and the over the top. Sometimes I thought,
I feel like that was more of a writing thing, though. I think that the actors did, like, for what they were given. I think the actors.
No,
did
they did fine. The script, I think, was a little over the top at times. The other thing too is, I don't know what it is about Eggers, but there must have been 4 or 5 just ritual scenes, whether it be a funeral or the whole thing with Ethan Hawke and the young Amleth, like, finding their inner wolf. That was a weird scene.
That was my favorite part.
But there's something about Eggers where he's into, like, let me film an entire ritual, and I got a little bored with that too, to be honest with you. I was like, okay, everyone's speaking in tongues or doing that weird Icelandic dialect thing and beating on a drum.
I'm a sucker for that. That's where I just have to disagree with you. I love those.
I feel like that's a cheap out. I'm like, do you move the story along? It's time to move the story along and not go, you know what, we're going to pause for 2.5 to 5 minutes and go through film. Yeah. All them walking, them running around the fire, and I thought, I'm like, this is not storytelling, and visually it didn't grab me, and there were times in the film where I literally stopped and went, I think I would have laughed if I was on set. Like, I picture Robert Eggers, like, just off camera going, no, now bark like a dog more. No, now howl. all the animals. I thought it just got a little silly for me. I've seen 3 of Eggers, like the only 3 you've seen.
We've both seen all big 3.
Yeah, I've seen the Witch and the Lighthouse and the Northman. I feel like this was a big step backwards for him.
The whole time, the entire time I was watching the movie, in the back of my head, I was like, this guy made the Lighthouse. This guy made the Lighthouse. Like, what happened?
You liked the Lighthouse more than I did. I enjoyed it, but
it's so good.
Oh my
it's
God!
So
Here we go again.
Oh, it's so good. It's so perfect.
Can I please
the
ask?
Acting's perfect.
Can I ask Robert Eggers not to make another movie for a couple of years so we don't have to hear the Lighthouse stuff again?
No, the Northman did not live up to the Lighthouse, so unfortunately the Lighthouse praise has to stay for now.
It is ultra violent. It is a little bombastic, I would even say at times. It's the story though. It's The Lion King in a nutshell. It's what it is. It's
afterwards I looked at my friends and I went, that was a shorter movie than Everything Everywhere All at Once. And he looked at me and he said, there's no way that's true. And I was like, yeah, that was a shorter movie. And it felt very long.
Yeah, it did. It dragged a bit. So kudos for stepping out of his box, because it's certainly light and day different from the Lighthouse. Oh, you can still see similarities in the style.
That opening shot was very Lighthouse.
Yeah. But I'm going to give the Northman, I'm going to give it a C.
And I'm going to, as much as it kills me to say
this. It's okay. It's okay, Jackson. He's not going to hate you.
It's not okay. I'm going to give the Northman a 5 out of 10.
Wow. See, that's even, I thought you would have gone 6 or 7, but okay, 5.
It's just, you can't, as much as I love the cinematography, you just cannot ignore the story. It's too much.
Yeah. It's a Viking tale, and I think it's one you definitely don't have to rush out to see. Are you disappointed?
Yep,
do you need to be held?
Yes.
I know you were extremely excited for
I need to rewatch The Lighthouse. Is what I need to do.
Okay. This will make you feel better. You were very excited to see The Northman. In fact, that's the one movie coming out this early part of the year. You're like, if there's anything on my radar, that's the one. That's the one I'm most excited about. The one that I was most excited about is The Unbearable Weight of Immense Talent with Nick Cage, where he plays himself.
I did not see this, so I'm very curious to hear your thoughts.
I saw it last night, and let me correct that. I saw half of it last night. I fell asleep, but I will let you know. Look at your face.
Well, you made it sound like you walked out at first, and I was like, you walked out of the theater?
I have to be honest with you. If the chair wasn't as comfortable it was, because I had one of those big old reclining chairs in the theater with the leg rest, if it wasn't so comfortable, I might have walked out.
Wow.
It was so disappointing. I wanted so much to love it, and I think I knew about 10 minutes in that it was not going to be what I thought it was going to be. And with that,
in what ways?
I knew it would be self-deprecating, and I knew Nick Cage was playing himself, and from the trailers I could tell that it was going to be kind of a screwball thing where he ends up working for the CIA or FBI, as he has to actually kind of take on a persona that he's played on the big screen. Like, he has to be the hero. Even with that known, it's just not funny. And there's something about being self-deprecating and being honest, and it didn't feel that way to me. It felt like it was Nick Cage performing what a lot of people think Nick Cage is like, and I don't know if it was really him. It's also really hard to get past his dyed beard and his wig. It's really tough to look past that.
Oh man.
Now,
that's really unfortunate.
With that said, I mean, I was conscious the first half of it, and I was kind of in and out, and I saw the ending, and it's gotten some pretty good reviews. It's doing well. It's tracking well, but it is. I don't know if I'm being so harsh because I was hoping for so much more. But I think it got maybe a little chuckle out of me on a line here and there. But I would stay away. I'll give a full review online, but The Unbearable is it? I think it's the am I confusing it with
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Of Massive Talent. I'm giving it a D-.
Wow. Yeah, that's and you dragged Mom into that too. That's messed up. She dragged her into it just to abandon her and fall asleep.
No, she wanted to see it. She hated it. She hated it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, she actually said something like, "You're lucky you fell asleep."
Hey, well, we both got disappointed, I guess. So
yeah,
we're on even playing field.
I know, but you watched one of my favorites, didn't you? A classic.
I did. So I took the time to. I've been meaning to see this.
I love this film.
My dad a while back recommended me a film called Sexy Beast, and
2000. Ben Kingsley, Ray Winston, British film. Hard to explain.
I had seen the trailer for it, and I was like, "Oh, the trailer is a bit disappointing because it's kind of it makes it seem like it's like a heist movie, which it kind of is.
It's like this. It's like behind the scenes. Yeah, it's behind the scenes of a heist almost.
I loved this movie so much.
Oh, thank God.
It's so good.
I would disown you if you didn't like Sexy Beast.
It was so not what I expected because you get the opening sequence is so good because it's him laying there and he's just like, oh, you could fry an egg on my chin. just spewing about this stuff, and then a boulder almost hits him in the head and falls into his pool. They really nailed it on almost every aspect. I thought the writing was phenomenal. The cinematography was really, really unique. I mean, they had some really great shots in there where I was like, wow, this is a bit more artsy than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole kind of like Donnie Darko bunny theme which I came out of complete left field.
Yep. For those who haven't, Sexy Beast, in a nutshell, is a tale of kind of a British gangster who's kind of hanging it up and wanting to get out of pulling heists. He's got a wife and a home, and he's out, and this other mobster really wants him to be involved in one more score. They always say it's just one more, but they want them forever. And they send a cleaner, if you will, to convince him to come back. And by convince, I mean to completely terrorize his life. Emotionally tear him up. But
manipulate him.
It is. I'm almost positive he didn't win, but I'm pretty sure Ben Kingsley was nominated that year for this film. And it might have even gotten a screenplay nomination as well. I'd have to look into that. But I'm so glad you liked it because I don't know if I've ever been that tense in a theater. Like my stomach was just turning, wondering what Ben Kingsley would do at any second.
He's completely insane.
Completely insane.
He's completely crazy.
And you're just waiting for this man to snap and do something horrific.
Scene on the plane. Do you remember the plane scene?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've seen it a couple times.
Smoking the cigarette and
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
wow.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah, what a great movie. I'm trying to think what else. As much as I loved Ben Kingsley's performance, I don't know what actor it is. I'm so sorry. I don't know.
Ray Winston.
Ray Winston is absolutely phenomenal. He does such a great job because he starts out as this. They kind of introduce him as this egotistical, very much so, full, just very relaxed, rich kind of persona. And then the second this Don guy gets thrown in, Ben Kingsley's character, it's like this full turnaround where he's no longer in a position of power and just so good and so funny. I mean, there was some genuinely really funny moments in there.
Hilarious.
It's just really, really great. Wow, what an ending! What an ending too.
Look up the director of that. I feel like
who did direct that?
I don't. It was some British guy doing whatever. Get Jamie on that to look that up.
Yeah, let's see.
But yeah, Ben Kingsley,
Jonathan Glazer.
That sounds familiar. What else has he done? I feel like
he has
gone on and did some other stuff.
Done Under the Skin.
It's a kind of I never
Birth.
saw it. I heard of that.
The Fall. Looks like a lot of everything else looks pretty small.
Yeah, a lot of artsy films.
Yeah.
Artsy guy, but yeah, that was so good. Sexy Beast.
Sexy Beast.
The Sexy
Beast. A really, 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 really great movie. Not what I expected at all, and just a treat to watch. I loved it so much. I don't know. They nailed every aspect of what I liked about it. So
you're welcome. See, your father won't steer you wrong.
That was good. On my scale, Sexy Beast gets a 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
great movie.
Great. I'd give it a 10. I give it a 10. But I don't do letters. I mean numbers. I do letters. So yeah, there you have it. The Northman, I think we both agree, did not live up to standards. Thank you, Pat Melton.
Neither did All About Eve.
All About Eve just didn't quite hold it as much. Stay away from the Nick Cage movie, and if you can, find Sexy Beast if you haven't seen it. That's spelled
it's on Vudu.
SEXY Beast, BEAST. Here at the PGN podcast, that's what we do. We talk movies and other stuff that may or may not come up. Did you get new trailers this week in front of your film? Oh my God, if I see Bob's Burgers trailer or Top Gun Maverick or...
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. But I really want to see that
Bullet Train.
Bullet Train looks great.
Yeah.
I really want to say Bullet Train,
That's
and I really
rapid.
want to see that what's the one with, it's like the pebble that talks and has eyes. The A24 film.
Men?
Stop motion. I really want to see Men, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's like the one where it's the pebble that has to try to find its family.
What?
It has like a big
what are you
googly eye
talking
on it.
about?
They didn't play this in your theater when you saw Everything Everywhere.
No.
It's like a pebble on a journey to find. It looks like a real tearjerker.
A rock on a journey to find its pet rock family.
Yes, I'll send you the trailer for it.
Is that an animated film?
It's stop motion, but it's a mix of like stop motion and
I don't do cartoons, big guy.
It's not cartoons. It's stop motion, and but it takes place in real life. So it's like it's in a real setting. It's called Marcel. It's a shell. Marcel the shell with shoes on.
There's
Looks
no
really,
way.
really
There's
great.
no way in hell I'm gonna watch that.
You're gonna watch. I'm gonna make you watch it.
That sounds.
Look. No. No.
I can't.
You are going to watch that movie.
That's the same weekend as Minions. I can't. I can only watch one cartoon movie.
It's
at
not.
A time.
I swear to God, if you call it a cartoon, it's not a cartoon. It's a film for adults, and it's going to be phenomenal, and I'm going to cry. And that's okay.
Have you gotten your ticket already for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Because that is our film next week.
I was very upset. My friends got tickets to go to a special event to see it with some Marvel social media people, but I couldn't make it. I had a improv show. But I'm going to try to get tickets to go a different time. I'm sure I can find people to go see it with me. It's not like it's weird.
I went to get a ticket for next Friday. I was like, maybe I ought to get a ticket now, just to make sure that I could see it. Because it's the big film next weekend.
Yeah, it's huge.
I literally think it was starting every 15 minutes in the theater. There's like 58 screenings of it. Are people that excited about the next Doctor Strange movie? What's going on? Is this Marvel bubble ever going to burst?
I saw some video that made me laugh where it was like every scene with Doctor Strange in it is always him panicking, being like, "Oh, geez, we have to go fix everything now." It's like he's always super stressed, like, "Oh, you knocked over the pot, and now if we don't fix it, it's gonna dissolve humanity as we know it." It's like, why is every I know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm walking in and I know what's going to happen.
I've seen the whole film. I can tell you everything that's going to happen. I can tell you the twist. They give everything in the trailer. There's a multiverse, and it looks like they're going to encounter an evil Doctor Strange and an evil Scarlet Witch, and there's going to be battles between the good Strange and the bad Strange, I'm just like, oh. I don't want to be that guy.
And I do think that there was a time when this was a thing, probably before Disney bought Marvel, when I could walk into a Marvel movie and not know what to expect and be excited for, like, oh, I don't know who's going to be in this. Like, oh, some superhero might make an appearance, and that's like a big moment. But it just, everything like, I know, like, you go in to watch Spider-Man and you know that there's going to be 3 Spider-Man. You know there's going to be Green Goblin. You know there's going to be, you just know what's going to happen. Oh, they're going to go back to their universe. Someone's probably going to get hurt. It's like, whatever.
Right.
I miss the days when I went into superhero movies and went, I have literally no idea if there's going to be some kind of crossover. Because that's exciting when you go and you go, oh, I hope my favorite superhero is going to be in this, and then maybe they are, and maybe they're not. But now it's like, I know who's in this movie. I know what's the beats are. It's annoying.
I like how we're kind of reviewing it before we've even seen it. Like, we've already decided.
Yeah, I know, but we kind of can. Is the thing. That's the
as much stuff has been put out. Here's the other thing too. I don't recall the first Doctor Strange being that big of a hit. I mean, I'm sure they all make their money, but there's so much push on this film, and I'm like, I feel like the first one was kind of like, it was kind of like those early Thor movies where people are like, we'll see it, but we're not.
I actually liked the first Doctor Strange. I will say I did like the first Doctor Strange movie.
I thought he was too strange in that.
A little too strange for you?
Yeah, I think he needs to bring the strange down a little bit.
Yeah, could we get Doctor Strange just turn down the strange levels a little bit? But,
well,
yeah,
we saw. So we're seeing Doctor Strange. Obviously, we'll be back to tell you if it's as predictable.
Is anything else opening this week? Because obviously this is a massive film. So
no. Nothing opens against Doctor Strange. In fact, I'm not even sure what opens the weekend after it. They usually tend to give it like a week or two to let that insanity come down. Although I'm sure we'll find something.
Did you get any new trailers? By some weird chance? Besides Bullet Train?
Yeah, I got a scary film called The Dark Light, or The Light, something about exorcisms. It's not coming out till October, but it was like a scary exorcism film, yeah. And then there was some other thing that I kind of wasn't paying attention to with, I think, Viggo Mortensen and Kristen Stewart. It looked like some kind of sci-fi, crazy, whacked out thing.
Viggo Mortensen?
Look on that. Look up what's coming up with Viggo Mortensen and Kristen Stewart. And I feel like that. And I got the
Crimes of the Future?
Yeah, that might be it.
Oh, no, Falling. Is it Falling? No, that's
maybe
old.
I don't know. Something coming up with Viggo Mortensen. And then the new Jurassic Park, the final trailer. Again, I've seen the entire
Crimes of the
film
Future.
now. Yeah. I don't know what that was. I don't know what it is.
Is the Top Gun movie ever going to come out, or are they just going to play those trailers until everyone's eyes bleed?
Until we've seen every jet fighter. Here's the thing. I will tell you this. I am going to be trying to make an effort to see films like that on IMAX and the bigger screens and the whole.
Yeah, I have been trying to too.
Because I want to. If that's going to be that kind of visual eye candy, I'm trying to see it in the best possible way, the way the filmmakers would want me. Because I know that if I put my heart and soul into like something like Top Gun, and then I'm like, oh, I went to a 4:00 matinee in that little theater that seats 24 people, and the screen was,
the rinky-dinky one.
Yeah, like I'm gonna try to see it with all the sound, and maybe that will affect me a little bit. Aren't you excited Aren't you excited for Top Gun?
So excited! I'm so excited.
Did you even like the first one? We've showed you the first one. Was it this year or last year? I sat down and watched it.
It's a fun movie.
It's fine.
It's not like, I know it's not The Godfather, but it's Top Gun. It just is.
I'm gonna isolate that soundbite right there. I just like that.
It's not The Godfather.
It's not The Godfather. It's Top Gun. The Godfather's Top Gun.
That's a good sound bit. But yeah, I am planning on seeing Doctor Strange. I'm going to try to find a time on Friday, and I am going to try to see Everything Everywhere All at Once for a third time this week because.
Oh my gosh, it's that you just.
I have to see it before it leaves theaters. I have to see it again before it leaves theaters because I have to.
It's by far the best film of the year so far. So next week, Doctor Strange, and since we took a suggestion for a classic this week, it is now time to take a suggestion from you guys of a absolutely horrible film. horrible that you want to torture me and my son and make us watch and then discuss.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Colin Fullerton, one of our regular listeners, he suggested a movie, a great film called Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell that we were unable to see because it's not on any platform. So we wanted to see it, and then we couldn't because you can't get it anywhere. So we were unable to take his suggestion. But he was nice enough to suggest a couple horrific films that he thinks we should sit through. So I picked something off the list from the 80s, my era, a film that I remember immensely when it came out, just because it starred one of the hottest guys at the time, the incredibly talented, rest in peace, Corey Haim, of course, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman fame. So we're going to sit down. You don't know this?
Not know.
Jackson is quickly rushing to the computer to look up all Corey Haim films.
I know Corey Feldman.
Yeah, well, Corey Feldman's still around making some of the best music of his career.
Oh, he was in the don't get me started on Corey Feldman's music. He was in Lost Boys.
Yes, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman were both in Lost Boys. They were the two. Corey Haim was the main kid. He was the younger brother. We are going to watch a little film that somehow slipped by me called Prayer of the Roller Boys. Which,
oh no!
If you see the trailer, can only be described.
It actually came out in 1990.
Was it 90? Okay, so right at the end of the 80s. Jackson's probably watching the trailer right now. I think it's for free on YouTube, so I know we can watch the entire thing on YouTube. Read the story, the tagline, Jackson. Look up the tagline.
Yeah, let me go back. Okay, the tagline.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. An undercover teen, Corey Haim, of the dismissal future, joins a cult of roller skaters who push a drug called Mist. Already getting the Apple vibes. Getting, yeah.
Well, it's not a musical, but I think it's got probably a great soundtrack. Yeah,
I'm hoping for some killer 90s feels in this.
This was right when rollerblading was just everywhere, and somebody in some studio said, we have got to... If we could get Corey Haim on rollerblades, that could be a thing. Make money. So, at some point this week, Jackson, if you'd be so kind as to curl up with your laptop and take in what I can only pray is the hour and 25 minutes running time of Prayer of the Roller Boys. I did not see it. I wonder why. Yeah, I can't imagine. As well as Doctor Strange will be coming next weekend.
How old were you in 1990?
I was in 1990, 68, 78, I was 22. Okay. So I was coming, I was like, I'm not going to get suckered into a roller skating.
You were past that, yeah.
Now, had that come out 5 years earlier, I would have been there opening night. Absolutely. I would have been like, what? Rollerblades? Corey Haim? The future, a dystopian future? I am in. 110%.
Did you like The Lost Boys when you first saw it, when it came out? Did you see it in theaters when it first came out?
Love The Lost Boys and still love The Lost Boys. But I will be the first one because I know I made you watch it this summer, and I know you didn't like it.
It's fun, though.
It's fun.
It's really fun.
I will be the first to admit that the main reason I like it is nostalgia. Like, I'm not going to go, what a great film. But
yeah,
and by far the best last line of any movie ever.
What's the closing line? I can't remember.
Remember, it was Bernard, the grandfather.
Yeah, I remember who said it. I can't remember what it was though.
That's the one thing I always hated about Santa Cruz or whatever. All the goddamn vampires.
Vampires.
Too many goddamn vampires.
Oh.
Like, so you realize the whole time he knew that there was...
He knew that there was vampire issue.
It's been an issue there. Or was it Santa Cruz or Santa Barbara or wherever the hell that movie
I think it was
took
Santa Cruz, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, something like that. No, but I'm the first to admit, when I see like a film like that, I go, this is all probably... I feel like we put you through a bunch of 80s nostalgia stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen a lot. I've seen almost every Rocky movie. I've seen every Terminator movie. Right. Every Aliens movie up until what's Rebirth, I think.
Resurrection.
Resurrection, that's what it is. I'm trying to think of other.
But what about the teen comedies? Have you done all those? Have you done
like what?
You haven't done those, like the Pretty in Pink or
no.
16 Candles.
I've seen 16 Candles.
Okay. Oh, sexy girl.
That's the one with yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I have seen 16 Candles. I've seen Breakfast Club, if you count that in cheesy teen movies, but
that's not really. Yeah. But yeah, there's some other cheese ones. Maybe I'll have to pull out of my hat for great stuff.
Oh God, this summer's looking.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be good times. What else, buddy? Anything? Everything good? Do you need money?
Everything's good. I think I'm okay.
Do you need money? Because I'm sure you have an uncle somewhere you can call and ask for it if you absolutely need it. And how are you spending the rest of your weekend? What are you going to do today? I'm going to go run the stairs in Santa Monica. What are you going to do?
Nice. I have to edit this. I've got some Patreon stuff to shoot for my own YouTube channel. I have to finish an editing assignment. My mom and my sister are coming down to have dinner before they go see a dance thing up where I go to school. Probably just hang out with friends later tonight. It's probably that's the plan.
All right. And why don't you explain for all our YouTube viewers why you've been wearing this Christian right-wing Republican shirt the whole time? What do you...
No. So this is merch for electronic artists a lot. Shout out to Kaizo Slumber.
What's it say? It says
Christian Moms Against Slumber Kai. That's like their mascot, the artist's mascot.
Their mascot is Christian moms protesting them.
No, this is their mascot, Slumber Kai. But the bit is like, it's like a Christian Moms Against it. It's just funny. I actually got a shout out. I posted a picture of me wearing it, and the artist shouted me out, and that made me really happy. So shout out to Slumber Kai or Kaizo Slumber. They're very cool. It's good music.
Literally nobody listening right now knows what you're talking about.
I know, but Jake knows what I'm talking about. Shout out to Jake if you're watching this. He knows what I'm talking about.
Jake did our theme music.
No, they actually do make really good music. Jake did our theme music. Shout out to Jake. I hope you're feeling better. He's
speaking of our theme music, start potting it up right now, Jackson. I am Regan Burns. This is my son,
Jackson Burns.
And we'll see you next time on the Parental Guidance Neglected podcast. Bye, guys. Love you, buddy.
Love you, too.